KC's Audio Vault.
Sean Morgan from Seether.
June 20th, 2008.
Hey, how you doing, man?
Good. How about you today?
I'm good, thank you.
You're back home, South Africa?
Yes, I'm actually in Durban right now. It's about an hour from my hometown. We have a show coming up in about 2.5 hours.
Do you still live in that same area? The family is still in the same neighborhood kind of thing?
Yeah, pretty much a lot of my friends and family still live where they were when I left, but unfortunately we had to move to the States so we could obviously be closer to the business and the record company and all that kind of stuff. But it's great. It's always we have a couple of days where we can grab time with our friends and family, so you almost appreciate it a little bit more, you know.
Is there places you like to go, like restaurants or a view, or you go anything like that when you're back home?
Yeah, we got a couple. You got a couple restaurants, but you always grab your favorite friends and you go and you have dinner and you sit around for hours just talking and drinking wine and stuff like that. So it's a very social way to hang out, you know.
That's going to be pretty much it for taking a rest because you just announced this gigantic North American, UK tour, that kind of thing. Yeah.
It's, unfortunately, if the old adage "no rest for the wicked" is true, then I must have been quite a bad person in previous lives or something. But it's exciting, man. As long as we're busy, we're it's good to be wanted. So we're excited about it. I mean, we have about a week off, maybe 10 days, and then we hit the road again until September, where we'll probably get time again. But that's how we like to do it, man. We like to be busy, and we like to get the music out as much as we possibly can.
Researching bands, it's always interesting because you find pages that categorize them, a genre, and they always seem to call Seether post-grunge. Is that a label that you hold on to?
I don't even know what that means. There's like post-grunge, and there's post-neo-grunge, and then there's like new metal, and there's so many different types of labels that you got out there. I mean, we just call ourselves a rock band, you know. We definitely have elements of grunge. I think we have elements of metal, and we have elements of rock music, and you know, so the post-grunge label is what it is, and again, that's something that you don't really have much control over. So you can get mad about it, and you can try and change a label, but really, it's not really. At the end of the day, it's not about the label of the band. It's really about the music. So we just ignore any kind of labeling because we've heard so many different labels for the band that we just ignore them now.
You do Pearl Jam covers occasionally, Nirvana, that kind of thing. Well, how do you feel about Kurt Cobain's name being lent to certain things, like the sneakers? He's got Converse is putting out a line of sneakers with his diary writings all over them.
That is, I don't know. I mean, you know, I would probably, I don't know. That's not my personal choice. Wouldn't have been to have my diaries be splayed across shoes and things like that. You know what I mean? But as a fan, I could see myself owning a pair. So it's that weird double-edged sword thing. Out of respect, I might not wear them, but I would certainly own a pair. You know, just because I was a fan, and we've been fans of all those kinds of bands forever. You know, that's why we do the covers by bands like Pearl Jam, Alice in Chains, Nirvana, Stone Temple Pilots, that kind of stuff. It's because we kind of figure it's paying homage to the bands that inspired us and the bands that made us pick up guitars and get out there and play music. You know.
Have you worked out any newer covers for the next tour?
We are working on some stuff. I mean, we've actually, in fact, not a new cover at all. We're playing older covers. We've just recently recorded a version of I've Got You Under My Skin, the Frank Sinatra Cole Porter song. And we've also recorded a version of Across the Universe, the Beatles song. So, you know, we've done Neil Young songs in the past and stuff like that too. So we want to, if anything, pay homage to the bands that first of all inspired us, but then also as musicians, the bands that we love. So we're working on some stuff, but it's almost like we want it to kind of be one of those things where we want to throw in a cover of some sort in every set, but you know, I don't even know if we have enough time to learn all the different songs we want to play, you know. So we just kind of go with the feel and see. Some days we just go, hey man, let's do this song tonight, and then we all sit and listen to our iPods and we go out and sound check, try it out, and if it doesn't suck too badly, we play it that night, you know.
You ever think of putting out like a covers compilation?
I actually was considering it because when the Deftones put out their B-sides and rarities album, I was blown away by some of the songs on there. So I was like, man, that's a great idea. And it wouldn't be if anything, you know. Obviously, I think it would just be a sort of a fan thing. But I would love to put out something because there's so many songs we've done. You know, I've done Portishead songs and the range of songs we've covered, Amy Winehouse, all the stuff that we've done has been, it's been quite diverse. So I think if we did do a cover album, it could be quite interesting. But I would prefer to do a cover album of covers we do that don't sound like the originals. Because a lot of the time when we play live, we do covers that sound like the songs we're playing because that's how we feel like we're paying tribute. Whereas, our versions of older songs are very different to the originals. So that'd be interesting if we could do an album that. Much like I think Cat Power did one time that I bought, and she had such interesting renditions of the songs that she was playing that sometimes you couldn't even recognize them. But again that would be wonderful if we could do it. But I think we don't really have enough time to take showers these days. So it's But I would definitely love to do that one day in the future.
Do you have like a section of the show where everything's sort of stripped down? You do a little bit acoustic once in a while, or is it pretty much straight plugged in?
Well, we do a little section where Dale comes out and plays acoustic and I sing, because that's the way we prefer to play broken, and then he'll stay sitting and we might do some acoustic songs, and then before we come back in and end the show on a heavy note, but yeah, because I like to bring it down in the middle somewhere and kind of give people a breather and make it less intense and make it a little bit more vulnerable and personal, and then kind of end with the remedies and fake it and stuff like that, so we can end on the high notes. But it's great. When I see bands do that, I love it. So we enjoy to do it as well. So whether or not we do it effectively is a different matter. But I think as far as when you set up a set list, you kind of want to. You want to take the listener and the audience on a ride. You want to take them up and then bring them back down, and take them up and then and kind of take them through a range of emotions if it's possible. So that's always it's always a good way to bring the boyfriends and girlfriends closer when you sit down and do an acoustic song. So we like to throw those in there.
You did the Download Festival recently in a pretty huge, heavy bill that you were a part of. Disturbed, Motorhead, Judas Priest, and then Kiss. How was that show?
It was awesome. I was very, very nervous for that show, and in fact was expecting the very worst. And they are well known for throwing bottles of urine at the stage. And so the band before us played, and it was kind of had some rap elements to it, and they got booed off the stage. In fact, so we walked up the back, backstage, and there was a big black curtain where no one could see us, and I stuck my head around to see what my guitar tech was doing, and. The crowd started going crazy because they started seeing me, and then I waved, and there was this real positive response. So immediately I felt like it might be somewhat better than I expected. We walked out and we started with a heavier song, and by the end of the set I think we'd won over a lot of people, but we had about 30,000 people in front of us. For a band playing at 2:30 in the afternoon, that's a pretty big deal for us. So we finished the set and we felt like we had been successful, and I think that the response we got from the crowd was great, and most importantly, there wasn't a single thing thrown at the stage, which is always a good thing. Yeah, well, there's a few bands that have been getting pelted. The Wild Hearts at that Download Fest, I guess they got pulled off the stage because they were taunting the crowd. And then recently, Queens of the Stone Age, Josh Homme, he was sort of went off on the crowd. Did you hear about that story? No, I haven't heard about either of those. But I can understand how some guys that's a character thing. For me, I don't go off. I kind of go, nice try, but you just missed me, man. Or if you're going to throw a beers, please throw a full one. It's not something. If you taunt a crowd ever, it's not a good idea. I mean, that's just in my personal opinion. It kind of makes you sound. To me, it makes you sound bitchy and whiny. We did a show with Trapped one time in Miami, and it was a massive festival, and they played a couple bands before us, and went out and they got a couple things thrown at the stage. So the singer had a little hissy fit and started yelling at the crowd and, "Come on, guys, stop throwing!" So for the rest of the show, people kept bombarding the stage for their set and everybody else's. So there were some bands backstage that went and had a word with that singer, but and it was just because he thinks he's. Those kinds of guys think that they are better than that, or you're at a rock show, man. Things happen. People throw things. People get hurt. People don't throw things. It's chaos. It's the spirit of rock and roll is that it's not ordered and structured. So I embrace it. As long as I don't get a concussion, which thankfully has never happened. It's part of the experience, and sometimes it's negative, and you kind of have to man up and play through it, or you can whine and moan. But Then again, I don't know either of those bands or their person. I know the music, but I don't know their personality. So I don't know if maybe the situation was more aggressive than I would have thought it is. But I personally don't say anything, and if anything, I try and turn it into something funny. You know?
Have you had a close call? Has there been a bottle or something fly by the head or anything like that?
We did a show one time with Marilyn Manson. Actually, we did 2 shows in Halloween 2000. I think it was 2000. Wow, maybe 3 or 4. And anyone who's ever been to or seen a Marilyn Manson show knows that Marilyn Manson is the reason why anybody went. No one else, much like a Nine Inch Nails show, you know. So we were playing, and we were right before Manson, and it was Halloween, so we just started getting pelted with pumpkins. So I got nailed in the chest with a big piece of pumpkin, but it wasn't like it was anything destructive or painful. But that was a good shot. Whoever that was had a fantastic aim.
And you can just appreciate that.
Well, you got to figure, man, that guy must have been a ball player or something. maybe there was some Marilyn Manson quarterbacks in the crowd. You never know.
Well, Sean, I appreciate you phoning us all the way from South Africa.
No problem, brother.
Looking forward to seeing Seether August 15th down at the Burton Cumming Theater, and talk to you soon.
Awesome, thanks.
All the interviews you want on iTunes and at Power97.com. KC's Audio Vault.
Casey Norman is Power 97's music director and can be heard every weekday from 2 till 6 in Winnipeg, Manitoba, Canada.
Power 97 is Winnipeg's best rock.